This is Thursday, May the 7th of 2015, and I'm at the home of Robert, I call him Bob Smitley, on Pine and 3rd Street in Marshall, and we're here today for his oral history. And with that, Bob, I'll just turn it over to you, and you can kind of start with your childhood and some things you may want to talk about in your early life or early views of Marshall.
You want to what birthday and all that? Okay. I was born April the 5th, 1941 in Washington, D.C. My parents were Robert L. and Helen Fraser Smitley. I have two brothers, Joe and Jim, and two sisters, Patricia Nave and Mary Zachary. I moved to Marshall in the summer of 1942. My dad was originally from here, and he came back to Marshall after being in Washington, D.C. for a few years. We first came to town. We lived with my grandma Smitley on South 8th Street, then moved to 915 Locust, corner of South 10th and Locust Street. And in 1959, we moved to 811 Ash. I lived in Marshall for 73 years.
You're not that old, Bob. Now, when you said in 1959 you moved to, I believe, 811 Ash.
811 Ash, right.
That was with your parents at that
right.
time. Okay.
Right.
And where'd you go to school? The old North Side School?
No, South School.
Okay.
South School, kindergarten through 6th grade, and then to junior high, and then on to high school.
You remember some of your teachers?
Yes, first grade was Helen Jane Friedenberger. Second grade was Ruth Friedenberger. Third grade was Irene Manhart. Fourth grade, I don't recall. Fifth grade was Murray Melton. Sixth grade was Bill Arney, Steve's brother.
Oh, okay. What, I guess, do you remember have a favorite memory or something back in those days in school?
Grade school?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one thing, in 6th grade, we always played the north side in softball. That was always a big thing.
Who was the winners?
Well, I don't remember that.
The old South Side School, I always thought it was a very beautiful building, and I kind of hate to see it torn down. Anything particular you remember about that structure?
No. Of course, in the summer, in the warm weather, all the windows were always up.
No such thing as air conditioning, was there? Okay, moving on into to high school. Did you have kind of a favorite subject, or maybe some things that
Wood shop.
would shop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who was the teacher of that? Do you know?
You know, I don't recall.
And what year did you graduate from high school?
1959.
1959. And then from there?
There I worked at Joe Smitley's grocery store for about, let's see, for a couple of years. Then I worked at Formalite was that back then, which
Oh,
now
you did work at
TRW.
Formalite.
Worked there.
At Formalite, that was still, I guess I think of it being a coil winding business
That's
that they had
exactly
at
what it
start
was.
time. Was that, were you on the production line?
I was in quality control.
Oh. What all did that entail?
Well, basically, those coils had so many windings of wire on there. And that's basically what I did, go through and take a test and take it to make sure that number of wire was on there. And there was a spacing in between the two coils, you had to check that. That's basically what we did.
Have you been in TRW recently, or?
I've not been back since I left there in 1963.
Because TRW is such an automated, sophisticated plant now that I just thought you'd make a comparison
No,
to the old.
not been in there.
Okay. And how long were you with Formula?
About 2 years.
Okay. And then from Formula?
Went to work for Uncle Sam in
Oh, did
the U.S. Army.
And what were some of your experiences there?
Well, going to Vietnam was the main experience.
Good and bad, both?
Good and bad both, right?
Anything in particular that was
Well,
maybe
no.
look at the good side?
Right. Made a lot of good friends in there in the military.
Do you still keep in touch with some of them?
Well, Billy Ray Alry, he just lives over at Martinsville. We were together the whole time we were in. And another friend from Wisconsin comes to see me once a year.
Oh, great. And were you in Vietnam the entire
No,
2 years?
no. No, I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia for a while.
Oh, okay. And what was your position, or?
Combat engineer.
I was in the combat engineering in the National Guard. Also.
Oh, really?
Wasn't really good memories, but anyway. Was Fort Benning then primarily training
Yes.
before you went overseas?
Took my basic at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri,
Oh dear.
and then went to Fort
I
Benning.
remember there
Georgia.
too. What time of the year were you at Fort Leonard Wood?
In the wintertime. It was cold.
And did they still have the old wood or coal furnaces?
No,
then?
we were in the new brick barracks. I think we were the first group to be in it.
Okay.
Very nice, if you could say.
I wouldn't even go into those old ones. I'm sure you were glad to be released from Uncle Sam's clutches. And did you come back to Marshall from then?
Yes. Yes.
In what year was that, you recall?
1965.
And what happened then?
Well, I just kind of took a break. I had a couple part-time jobs, worked down at the Legion Home, the janitor down there, and I helped Jack Maury on the trash route. Worked for Uncle Joe down at the checker station. There across from Kirshner's.
Mm-hmm. What was that checker station? Just gasoline, or did they have like
Gasoline,
groceries and
no.
stuff too?
No, just gasoline and a few little candy and stuff like that, Cokes.
Now you mentioned your uncle. Was it Uncle Joe's grocery?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that located?
North 2nd Street,
Okay.
the old whole bottle.
What? That was pretty much of a full-service grocery for the
Yes.
community and the neighborhood.
Even had delivery.
Oh,
Delivered.
wow. Okay.
That was one of my jobs.
Yeah, it's been an interesting experience
It
delivering
was.
to people. You find everyone isn't always the most upbeat either.
Most people were very
cordial.
Oh yeah.
And from the grocery delivery business and these things, what was your career path?
Let's see after that. That's when I went to TRW or Formlight after that.
So that was back to Formulite then?
Grocery store, Formlight, U.S. Army, odd jobs, then went to Quality Lime in 1966.
Oh, okay. And your position out there?
Worked in the office on the scales.
And where was Quality Line at that time? Was it on the north side of?
Yes, where Golf Lake subdivision is now.
Uh-huh. About how many people were employed there at that time?
Probably about 12.
Oh, really? Okay. So I guess the gravel pit and everything then was operational there at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Now is that what was made into the lake?
Right, that's where you get the lakes, the old pits that were.
Okay, that's what I thought. And who were the owners at that time?
Van Darwell.
And then his son was Martin. And now it's in the next generation.
Right, Jerry and John.
That's one of the few local businesses seemed like it stayed into several generations.
Yes, they've been there. Well, they were Clarksville at one time, way back when.
What was their primary? I know it's quality line, but I know they sold a lot more than just line.
Right.
What was
Of course,
the
ag line
product?
was their main product at one time. Of course, then you got your road rock, different sizes of material.
Oh, that's right. They would provide the road
Yeah.
materials for underlayment as well as the
Right.
surfacing of it.
Yeah, they was several different sizes of rock.
And they have their own delivery equipment.
No, never did. They just hired local trucks.
Okay. So what's been some of your highlights of working at?
Well, I met a lot of nice people. Farmers, truck drivers.
Any that stand out in your mind?
No, there's so many, Damien. It'd be hard to.
Well, in your experiences with the Tarbell family and all, you've got to know them quite well too. Then I'm sure.
Yes. They're very, very good to work for.
Have they become, should we say, more sophisticated over the years then, in the way they operate in their business?
Oh, yes.
What's been some of the big changes that you
Of
saw?
course, everything's bigger equipment.
That's probably right.
That's the main thing.
What, in particular, is it the hauling equipment? Or
Everything. Everything's bigger. Trucks, excavator.
What, that must too, also generate the cost of operating would keep going up too as you have to buy bigger equipment.
Right. Of course, prices will go up also, like every place else.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, with the scales, were they automated, or I know the old scales that my dad used to have. You looked and you had to move the thing along.
That's the way that scale was to
But
start with.
anymore, they're I think electronic,
Now,
and
yes, they are
a weight comes right up on them.
Right. And we hand wrote tickets till probably the last. We were still doing it when I left. I retired in 2003. We were still handwriting tickets. We did have a computer we entered it into to do the billing and so forth. But now it's all computer. You punch your customer number in there and it prints the weight, prints the ticket out for you, and sends the information back to a, whatever, you know, what you call it.
Billing document.
Yeah, something like that.
So you saw major changes then in the way things operated in your
Yes,
time.
exactly. A lot of changes. Of course, the trucks got bigger. It was hauling material out. Everything just keeps getting bigger.
Is there some disadvantage to that too?
I don't think so. No.
What about the bigger equipment? Is it more difficult, obviously, probably to operate, that it took more training or something for the people
Well,
doing it, didn't they?
I don't think so.
No?
This thing just bigger. It's, you know.
What, did you have any desire to be out driving trucks or anything to get out of the office?
No.
You're happy to be right inside.
Pretty nice in there.
So you retired in 2003.
Right.
Then how many years were you there?
Just not quite 37.
Okay. 37 years. Okay. What, I guess, did you plan and look forward to that? Oh, I can't wait to that retirement.
Exactly.
Okay, you haven't regretted then
Oh, no,
leaving the
no,
office job?
no. I did go back and work a couple of weeks. Of course, the guy took my place. And then, of course, Travis Spiro was going to take some vacations. I went back and worked about 2 weeks after I retired. It was within the first month. So, but other than that, the computer passed me up.
What, I'm going to ask this, did you feel after you retired and you were at home here a little while that, were you ever bored?
No, never.
I didn't think so. So, with you started here kind of with your love of wood shop. Have you used that as kind of a hobby along the
No,
years?
not really. I really didn't have the tools to do anything.
What are some of your hobbies?
Well, grandkids mostly right now.
And how many are there?
7. Got 5 here in Marshall and 2 in Indianapolis.
5 in Marshall. Now, is it Indianapolis proper or?
Carmel.
Okay. So with that, that as being your hobby, I think the ones here in Marshall, you probably take care of overseeing them once in a while too.
Well, of course, I've still got some in school, grade school and high school, so I take them to school, pick them up in the evening, take my little grandson to preschool three times a week. Of course, I help my grandson Bobby mow yards, and also my son Rob, he's got yards to mow, so I help them.
Oh, I didn't realize you were doing that.
Yes, good exercise.
It is. So Rob still has some yard mowing?
Yes, he does.
I remember a long time ago he used to do a lot of mowing.
He
for
did,
us.
didn't he? Yeah, he mows 4 yards right now.
And Rob's son, you call Robbie?
Bobby,
Bobby. And how many yards does he have?
he has none now. He got out of the yard mowing business.
Okay. What, do the people have their own equipment or did you have your
No.
own mowing equipment?
That's the equipment.
Okay. And you get those around town by car, putting it in the truck?
Truck and trailer.
Okay.
And of course, I mowed yards here in the neighborhood. After I retired, I mowed Irene Lusk, and I mowed Mary Frances Harper a couple summers. Mowed Granny Smitley. Of course, I was still working at that time.
You mentioned really a name, kind of a fixture in the community, Granny Smitley.
Yes.
Why don't you tell a little bit about her?
Well, the one thing I always remember when I mowed her yard, as soon as I got done, she always had to bring a glass of iced tea. And you talk about sweet tea, that's about as sweet as you can get. It's about like drinking syrup. But you had to drink it, you're standing right there in front of her.
Did that kind of make you more thirsty?
Yes, yeah, Granny was quite a lady. Of course, she had 11 children. My dad being the oldest.
What were some of her likes and dislikes? I think I know she liked music.
Oh yeah, she did. She played the piano.
So she was your grandmother,
Yes.
and your dad was one of her 11
Yeah,
children.
his oldest.
What else did she like to cook? For things
Oh yeah,
that-
great cook. Of course, when you raise 11 kids, you have to.
So she was a great cook, and what else did she enjoy doing?
Well, that's pretty much it, David, I can think of on her. Of course, she worked at the courthouse at one time in the trader's office.
I didn't
And,
know that.
Was it Mr. Tarman was in there?
Yeah.
Okay, she worked for him.
Oh, okay.
One story I remember about her, of course this was later years, she was going to the beauty shop and she had a little fender bender. The police came, she says, I haven't got time to fill any paperwork, I'm going to be late for my beauty shop appointment. Away she went.
That, That kind of just sounds typical from the way.
But she lived at the big house there, south of the bowling alley. Of course, the house is gone. In the summertime, well, at least 2 or 3 times a summer, we'd all go up there for homemade ice cream. Of course, we were just kids, but
Did she make the ice cream?
oh yeah.
That was quite a gathering then
Yes,
when
it
everyone
was.
got together.
It was quite a gathering.
With the memories of Granny, does the family have like a reunion or anything?
We haven't had for several years. The last one we had like 125 people there, I think.
Wow,
Down at the American Legion.
that'd be quite a gathering.
It was a gathering.
And I know the family's getting so scattered out, it's kind of
Yes.
hard to get everyone back together anymore. With those memories of Granny, well, she was very much a supporting, active in the church too.
Oh yes. In fact, she's the reason that I'm a Catholic. She wanted all of her grandkids. Well, she was Catholic, but her husband wasn't.
Right, about that.
So she,
So she was. Did she walk to church at that time?
You know,
I don't think so.
maybe I don't remember.
I remember her driving.
Oh yes.
I was wondering back before that, maybe if she walked
Of
to
course,
church.
she lived pretty close to the church.
Yeah. What do you remember about some of the foods that she cooked?
Well, everything she had fixed was good. Nothing in particular.
Well, if she liked sweet tea, was her cooking and her sweets pretty much in the desserts too?
Right. All the Smitleys like their sweets.
What, I guess looking back to that time of growing up, did you have a pet or anything?
Yes, we had a dog. She was part bulldog and part something else. In fact, it was Granny's dog. Of course, when we moved from her house when we first came back to Marshall, the dog followed us and just stayed at our house. And so she was our dog from then on.
So you inherited a dog.
We did.
What was the dog's name?
Trixie.
Trixie. So you, over the years then though, later, you folks have not had a pet.
No,
have
we
you?
haven't.
Okay. Well, there's a young lady I saw here a while ago, and where did you meet her?
Let's see. We were neighbors. We just lived about a block away from each other. She lived on South 10th, right south of Archer. We lived on the next corner.
So,
How we met, I don't. I
were you
don't
in school
remember.
together?
Well, I'm 2 years older than she is.
So, Marilyn was actually your neighbor, and did you know her from just
No.
being a youngster?
No, it didn't.
And what was her maiden name?
Quick.
Okay, and what year were you married?
1964,
Okay,
December 26th.
September 26th?
December 26th.
December 26th. In 1964. So you have celebrated a very important anniversary then.
Yes, we did. 50 years.
Quite a milestone. And over those years, you have lived here, big part of them.
We lived on 115 North 9th for 7 years.
7 years. Huh?
We lived here 43 years.
Okay. That really seems like home then, right?
Yes, exactly.
43 years?
43 years.
What's been probably your biggest memory about home ownership?
When we paid the mortgage off.
That's a pretty important and a pretty important item. Is there a person that, over your experiences in life, that's really made a difference in your life, or someone you feel most important?
My wife.
Mm-hmm. And you have some children also.
Yes. 3, 2 sons and a daughter.
Where, and I know you mentioned that your daughter, Sarah, lives in Carmel.
Carmel, Indiana.
Okay. And the 2 boys are here.
Here in Marshall. Rob and Michael.
Where, did they live outside of the community at all, anywhere, any time?
Michael did.
I was thinking.
He lived in Indianapolis. I don't remember the years, Damien.
But
He was just there a couple of years and he came back to Marshall.
decided Marshall was a pretty good
Well,
place to be, huh?
he got a chance to interview at Marathon for a job and he got the job, so he moved back to Marshall.
And was he married at that time?
Yes.
He was, okay. And what's his wife's lineage? Does she come from?
She's from Martinsville, Indiana.
Oh, Martinsville, Indiana.
Yes.
Okay. And her name is Nancy?
No, Michael's is Jen.
Jen.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay.
Rob's is Nancy.
Nancy, yeah. And she's from
Hudsonville.
Hudsonville, yeah. Where, did they happen to meet in school or?
No. How they met, Rob was janitoring up at the post office. And Nancy's mom was working there. She thought he was a pretty nice guy, I guess, so she told Nancy she need to meet him. So that's, her mom kind of got them together.
Is that right? Okay. And Mike's wife's name is Jana?
Jen.
Is it J-E-N-N or J-A-N-N?
J-E-N-N, right.
Yeah. And she's from Indiana.
Right.
I'm sure you're glad to have those part of your family close by. Indianapolis is a little far, but it's not too far to get down the road to see them.
2-hour drive to their house.
Are there some events in the past, maybe historical events that really stand out in your mind? That
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Well, of course, Kennedy assassination.
do you recall what you were
Well,
doing at that time? Most people seem to have a memory of that.
I'd just gotten my draft notice about a week before that.
Ooh. And I guess, how did you react to that?
Well, I
Did
was
you hear it on
shocked.
the radio, or?
I was looking forward to his presidency. Him being a young man.
Were you in? Did you hear it on radio, television, or someone tell
I
you?
don't remember.
Okay, because I happened to be in a barber shop and they had the television on.
Oh, really?
Couldn't believe it. What about the, I guess the aftermath? Did you have a chance to watch some of the funeral and all of the things that unfolded from that?
Yes, I did.
And that was all kind of an unbelievable, I guess, an unbelievable event that took place in our lifetimes. With the modern conveniences and everything we have now, is there some invention or something that you really feel, boy, that changed my life and I don't think I could live without it?
Well, central air and heat. Of course, when we were kids, most people had coal stoves.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Mom got a gas stove, that was really a big deal. Of course, it was bottled gas at that time.
Now I know what bottled gas is, but someone else, you have a young person today, would not know what bottled gas is. So what's your explanation of that?
Well, it's propane gas in just a small tank. Of course, it had to set outside your house and then line run into your stove. Another thing, when I was a kid, I tell people that, they say, "What was that?" I used to sell cobs, corn cobs. course, at that time, farmers all picked in the ear. They'd bring their corn into the feed mill. They'd shell it and then grind it. Well, when you had your coal stoves, you needed something to get the fire going. So a lot of people in our neighborhood used cobs. They'd put them in the stove and put what they used to call coal oil, with I guess it's kerosene now. Put a little of that on there, get it going, then put your coal in. That's how you get your fire going. People say, cobs. And I'll never forget, I'd take my wagon, I'd get three burlap bags on my wagon, 10 cents a sack's what I got.
And the mill was glad to get rid of it.
Yes, that's right.
10 cents a sack. Now, how large a sack?
Well, like a burlap bag. Of course, we call them gunny sacks back then. I don't know how much would be in one, Damien.
You're probably talking about probably a bushel and a half or something.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
probably.
2. Oh, sold a bag of cobs for 10 cents. Now, those were not soaked in oil or anything at that point,
No.
right?
You did that after you put them in your stove.
Well, I remember my grandfather kept a can, and it was just a bean can with the top cut out, and always kept coal oil in that, and he would have about 3 to 4 cobs stoking in that all the time, and that's what he used to start the fire with.
Right.
People today, as you say, kids have no idea.
No, they don't.
Oh yes, times have really changed. So you like central air conditioning then?
Oh yes.
If there's a tool or something that you say, gosh, I couldn't live without that, what would that be? Do you know?
Well, no, not really. Well, power lawnmower.
Okay, those old push mowers.
I mowed a lot of yards with a real mower, push
I
mower.
have too. Okay. Power mower. I think we all are glad to have those. What do you recall what you charged when you mowed yards back as a youngster?
$2. If you got $2, that was big.
Once in a while, someone might be generous and give you an extra quarter.
Once in a while.
Not very often, though, did they? Okay, well, it's enjoying visiting with you, Bob. But if you were in another country, say overseas, and you were talking to someone, and they said, "Marshall, what's that?" or Illinois, what would you tell them about your community of Marshall and why it's a good place to live here?
It's a great place to live. I'll start off with that. Everybody's friendly. It's a clean town. Good place to raise a family. Good schools. Have a hard time getting me out of here.
Well, you've obviously been to other parts of the world,
Yes.
but you think it's a pretty good spot
Yes,
to
I do.
come back to then.
Yeah.
What, in those earlier days, in comparison to now, downtown, our courthouse square, has not changed an awful lot, but is there something in particular you remember about the old days of downtown Marshall?
Well, of course, then we bought everything pretty much in Marshall. We had all the stores we needed. We just maybe go to Terre Haute very once in a while. I bet we didn't go to Terre Haute over 2 or 3 times a year when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, our neighborhood, we could play outside. In the summertime, it was after dark almost every night. Playing kick the can. And just, you didn't have to worry about, the neighbors. You could play they didn't care if you played in their yard. It was just a really good neighborhood where I grew up.
How about the neighborhood of where you grew up?
Well,
How's that changed?
of course, mainly there's not many kids around there anymore in that neighborhood. Like when I was growing up, they're just not. It's just altogether different.
Do the appearances of our streets and all, and I know obviously trees have changed and some houses have changed, but do you think today downtown Marshall and our neighborhood streets are materially different than they were back in
I don't
your
think
time?
it's a whole lot, no.
I think that's part of the reason that it's still a quaint
Right.
complete village.
We do have more street lights than we used to.
That's right too. Yeah, you can almost read a newspaper.
You
out
can.
some of them.
Back then, they had one about every 2 blocks, I think, just hanging in the middle of the street. Just a big light bulb, and that was it.
And I don't recall out in the neighborhoods there were any street lights, were there? There might have been a few on 7th or 8th,
No, there weren't a
6th
whole
Street,
lot.
but I don't think very many
No.
at all.
No. Now it's pretty well lit up everywhere.
Well, I know one building that I know has changed some would be the high school.
Oh,
Big difference in that.
in fact, when we went to junior high, it was over in the old high school.
Red
Seventh,
brick.
7th grade, right.
Mhm.
And then 8th grade was in the high school on the bottom, the 4 north rooms where they built the new junior high.
Well, thank you so much, Bob. I enjoyed visiting with you and filling in a little bit of some of the things of
Well, I
your
hope-
past and your history. And that's again available. Someone can key in, and 25 years from now, we hope, come back. My gosh, here's an interview of Bob Smitley.
Be interesting.
And that's exactly the purpose of it, so that
Right.
future generations.
Oh, also, I think we have a very good library
Wonderful.
for a town our size. And I think it's very well used.
It is. It's not just books either anymore.
Oh,
It's the.
whenever I go in there, the computers are just about always busy.
I forget, Nancy had a record of how many usages of that during the year. Phenomenal, just unbelievable number.
Phenomenal.
So we're very fortunate to live in Marshall and so glad that you're a part of it.
Right.
So with that, thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you,
And
Megan.
we wish you more enjoyment in your retirement.
Thank you.